Hallway. Hello. Hope you're enjoying your snow day. I just wanted to make this quick little video so that you have something um, to reference as we move forward. Over the past couple of stages, we've been really focused on the verbs and the different flavors of when they happened. Sadly, maybe to the detriment of our nouns. So I just want to take a quick look back at the nouns and what we've been doing over the past um, 8 stages so that we can get prepared for a new thing with nouns. So, what have we been learning, right? We know that nouns change their spelling. English nouns do this too, but to a lesser extent. Latin nouns, they have different forms, they have different spellings to tell us more information than English nouns do. Are they doing the action in the sentence? Are they the subject of the verb? Or they also have a different spelling if they are having the action done to them, if they're the object of the verb, which we have to a small extent in pronouns, right? We have the difference between he and him, but we don't do that typically with nouns. So, for example, in Latin, caecilius in horto sedet, right? I know caecilius is doing something because he has the spelling that lets me know that he's doing it. Um, Right, he is the actor of the sitting. He's the one who's doing it. He's the subject of the sentence. Metella caecilium amat. Metella loves Caecilius. Caecilius is spelled differently here because in Latin that shows us that he is having something done to him. He's having the love done to him. Okay, we have lots and lots of nouns. This is just a sample of some of the nouns that we've been learning. I think this only goes into stage 5 or so. But we look and we see words like patella, caecilius, hortus, servus, amicus, cana, mercator, leo, pictor, poeta. These are all words that we have seen before. Whether you remember what they mean or not, it is what it is. These are all the subject forms. These are all the subject spellings. And then let's take a look at all of these exact same words, but with their accusative spellings. And thankfully, one of the great things about Latin is that it's very consistent here, right? We see that they all end with the letter M, which is fantastic. I don't have to think about it. I'm going to go back to the nominative form for a second, right? These don't have a singular ending. We have some that end with A, some that end with us, some O's, some they're R's. They're just all over the place. But what is nice and consistent are the accusative endings. So thank you, Latin. Metellam, caecilium, servum, mensam, tonsorum, etc., etc. So we started as we were looking at the differences between the nominative and accusative. We really noticed some patterns. First of all, that anytime that a noun ended with the letter A in the nominative form, like Metella and Melissa and Wea, and Mensa, anytime that we did something to it, it always ended with an am, not just an m, but specifically an am. Anytime a noun ended with the letters us, like Caecilius and Hortus and Servus, they always ended with not just m, but specifically And then all those other ones like Grumio and Leo and Navis and Mercator and Spectator, all those other ones that don't have a particular ending, when in the accusative, they always ended with an em. It's almost as if they were a group of their own, being the island of misfit toys, which led us to realize that there are actually groups of nouns. They're families of nouns that always change the same way. And we could call them families if we wanted to, but we're not going to because thousands of years of Latin grammar, they've already given us a word for it, right? These are called declensions. So this is when we started to start filling out the sacred noun chart, which looks a little scary because there are lots and lots of boxes. Also, there are more than 3 declensions, but we're not going to deal with that until next year. So right now, let's just focus on what we actually need. It's that top left corner. This is all that we actually need right now. And even in this, there are some things that we don't know. So that first declension, that is that A declension. The nominative always ends in A, and the accusative was always that AM. That's all we know in the first declension right now. In the second declension, We saw lots of USs. There were a few ERs that we eventually learned, like puer and magister, um, but not all ERs, only some. So that's a little annoying, but it is what it is. So anytime it ended with a US and some of these ERs, it always ended with a UM in the accusative. So we have another group, we have another family of nouns that always change the same way. And then we had that third family, right? These are all the given forms. I say given. Another thing that you might have written on your own chart was no common ending. There is no common ending between Leo and Clemens and Canis and Mercator. They're just the, the endings that are given to us. But anytime we have one of these weird ones, they always end with an EM, and that's fantastic. So we have these little families. A noun can only ever exist in one family, in one declension. You can't have a noun in more than one declension. The second thing we learned around stage 5 was how to pluralize things. We started finding examples of sentences where we had more than one subject doing something. Puella in via current. We have girls running in the street. Spectatores ad teatrum contentant. The spectators are hurrying to the theater. And we had servi hodie non laborant. The slaves aren't working today. Again, we've spelled the words differently because they are showing us something slightly different. But this wasn't too bad. This was actually not so bad because we have these endings in English as well, right? We have an AE ending, meaning plural, larva, uh, algae, things like that. We have that I in words like cacti and fungi and things like that. And we pluralize things with S's for everything else anyway. So these endings weren't too bad for us. So let's pop them on our declension charts. Where do we find these things? Well, in that first declension, to pluralize a noun in the first declension, it ends with an AE. That's where I get puelli, main psi, weei, wheeli. In the second declension, this is where I find that I. That's why I have a cactus turning into a cacti. And in that third declension, we end with that ES, that long ES. This is all stuff that you have on your sacred noun chart, hopefully. If you don't, now might be a good opportunity for you to put it down. And this is all we have right now. Eventually, very soon, we're going to learn something new down in the plural land. But for right now, let's give it some practice. I'm going to give you some nouns. If you have your noun chart with you, fantastic. I'm not going to put it back up on the screen, so you'll just have to either remember it or have your chart with you. And let's identify what declension, what case, and what number is it. Puella. It's a first declension. It's got that A in there. It just ends with A, so it's nominative. There's only one of them. There's only one of her, so she's singular. The girl. Furem. Okay, well, it ends with an M, so I know it's accusative. I'm going to go one letter back to find the vowel, an EM. I find EM in the third declension accusative, and there's only one of them because that's all I know right now. So something's happening to the thief. Felix is punching the thief so hard that he almost killed him. Liberty. Where do I find that long I? Second declension, nominative, plural. Fur. Does this have an ending? It's a UR, not an ER. This is our case of the no common ending. This is the given form, which places it in the third nominative singular. Puelam. It's got the M. Go one step back to find the vowel. AM, first declension, accusative, singular. Puelli. AE, first declension, nominative, plural. Leo. I don't find that O on the declension chart anywhere. So this must be another example of the given form, which places it in the third nominative singular. Libertas. Well, we've already identified libertas as a second declension. It can't be anything other than a second declension. US, we find nominative singular. Leones. again, we've already identified Leo as a third declension. A lion can't jump into a different declension just because it wants to. So es, third declension, nominative, plural. Fures, same thing here. Third, nominative, plural. Leonem, Leo, is third. Em is accusative, singular. And libertum, second, accusative, singular. Okay. So with what we know right now, this is these 12 words should have been very, very easy. Very soon we're going to be adding something to our list. So be on the lookout for that. So hopefully this little review kind of helped to bring it all back together. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye.